So in Tom Fleming's running room store, I would, you know, unless you knew him, you couldn't tell that he was like frustrated with patrons that would come in from time to time. And after they leave, he'd go, oh gosh. And I go, wow, that person really didn't want to believe that that the foot was a size 8. He goes, why is it that these women insist that they're 7s or 6.5s and they're really a size 8? I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel that way. I want room in, you know, I got a wide toe box, you know. And he'd say, you know what I always noticed too? He said, the really heavy people want to wear the lightest shoes. What's that all about? I'm like, I don't know. So he had all these questions about people. It'd be like, you walk in and the person would say, I'm a 6.5. And it would be a woman. I'm a 6.5, or I'm a 7. I'm a 7. And he'd go, well, you know, I'd like to measure your feet. And they'd be like, no. So these women, really women, would have an aversion. And then, of course, it would come to the colors. And then if the older women would come in, and they go, well, my son said come here and get a pair of running shoes. And I always told people that running shoes were better than walking shoes. So I would send people who were walkers, who were clients of mine, to Tom's. And they didn't want fancy colors. And so sometimes I'd call Tom up ahead and I'd say, listen, I'm sending this nice little lady to you, and they want walking shoes, but I told them to come to you for running shoes and try to make it as plain as possible, okay? And they go, oh, okay. So I would always get this, but his shoes were so colorful. They would come back into my office like 2 weeks later. I go, did you get Tom Fleming's running room? Did you go down there? Because he's a nice guy. He'll measure you. It'll be really okay. And he's like, well, I don't know. I said, is it like, did somebody say something at the senior citizen home? I didn't say it to them, but I was so tempted. And there were times when I said to Tom, I really just want to come out and tell him how I feel in your store. He goes, don't do that. But he would say things, and he would tell me stuff that his dad would say, and I have to go back and remember some of that stuff. But he would tell me stuff about his dad. And sometimes, a guy would walk in, and he'd look at the prices, and he did, some of the patrons, they don't understand retail. I understood retail a little bit because my husband had been in retail. As a matter of fact, right when I met Tom, my husband was in retail before he became a teacher. And so sometimes guys would walk in. So a guy would walk in and he'd look at the prices and he wouldn't even talk to Tom. And he'd say, the price, and he'd go, give me a break. And if the guy would leave, he said, my dad used to say when somebody would say, give him a break. I'm like, what? He'd say, make one. And to me, that's not brittle. That's just very honest, okay? So, I'm sure other people have stories, Tom Fleming stories. I got tons. No, they're coming to me. I woke up in the middle of last night, I had 5. So I had to write them on a little Post-it note so I could go to bed. I made 3 or 2, went to bed, woke back up, made another one, and wrote down more. Happy trails, trying to entertain those people who remember Tom Fleming.